Welcome to Practical Data Science. I'm Steve, your Chief Data Enthusiast, and you've joined me today in my series on using Excel for simple data science. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to use Excel to create a simple pivot chart. Through this video, you will learn how to create a pivot chart shell and learn how to define the pivot chart structure. Pivot tables create a very convenient and efficient way of analyzing and interpreting data from internal lists and external databases. If the table is very large and complex, it may be difficult to spot trends and patterns. As a consequence, Excel combines the ease and convenience of pivot tables with its charting operations to provide you with pivot charts. For this example, I'll be using a Titanic dataset that can be found via Kaggle. A link to the Kaggle dataset can be found in the description below, or alternatively, I will also provide a link to an Excel spreadsheet that will be ready for you to use. Pivot tables can sometimes become quite complex and large, making the data they contain difficult to understand. It can therefore be useful to have a way of representing the data in a simpler format. This is where pivot charts can be used in conjunction with a pivot table or even on their own and are created in a similar way to a pivot table. Click on the Datasheet Worksheet tab to see the data list. It converted the data into a table for ease of use. If you would like to know how to create a table, I'll provide a link to that video in the description below. Click on the Insert tab on the ribbon and then click on the Pivot Charts icon in the Charts group. This will create a new sheet with your pivot table and pivot chart shell. When you create a pivot table, the pivot table fields pane displays automatically, and it's by using this pane that you can create the structure of a pivot table. In the same way you can create a pivot chart, the pivot table fields pane displays. You can use this pane in the same way as the pivot table fields pane to create the structure of a pivot chart. Let's begin. In the pivot charts field pane, click on the passenger ID field and drag this to the values pane. Next, click on the sex field and drag this to the axis plane. Lastly, click on the supplied field and drag this to the legends pane. You can see that by doing this, both the pivot table chart and pivot table is populated, and we can see which sex survived and did not survive the sinking of the Titanic. This concludes this video on how to create a pivot chart using Excel. For more videos like this, subscribe to the Practical Data Science channel. This is your Chief Data Enthusiast, signing off.